This is Mag212 and I have another Nerf tip for you guys. So as you guys might know, I have a lot of extra Nerf pieces. These are all screws and little things. And then I have big bags of parts. And this is really helpful because if you ever need something, you just get it right out of here. And it's kind of helpful as a modder to have something to fall back on if you break something by accident. So I'm going to teach you how you can get a lot of parts like these. The way you have to do it is by scavenging. In this video right now, I'm going to show you how I scavenge for parts and how I get all these extra parts. So what you're going to want to do, a good gun to scavenge is one that's broken. This is not broken. This is a perfectly functional strong arm, so I'm just using this for the purposes of this video, but you might want a gun that you don't use, doesn't function anymore, or something like that. And you can use the parts. You can use maybe the tactical attachments, the springs, the switches, the whatever. And so let's get started. So now that you have successfully taken all the screws out or loosened them, you can take the top half of your gun and kind of just pry it off. This is your internal set. Just keep this and put it aside for now. So the first thing is when you scavenge, you often will need extra screws, which is what I have in here. If you lose a screw, can't put your gun back together. So it's helpful to have extra screws because Nerf uses the same screws for all their stuff. So all you do is just turn it upside down and kind of tap everything out. Maybe use your screwdriver in little places where you didn't get the screws out, like that. And once you have gotten all the screws out, you are done with this part. So now that you've got all your screws, you can just set them in a little cup. I have actually a little case. This was for an iPod, I think, and that's where I keep all my screws. There are many things that could be potentially useful here. First of all, maybe your barrel. I have had instances where I've painted this and I've decided I didn't like how it turned out, so I like to keep this. I keep all my stuff in a Ziploc bag and I sort electronic stuff from all my other spring stuff. And that's very helpful because if you're looking for a piece, you know exactly where to look. And also pieces like this, maybe you'll need this if you screw up on a mod with this. It's always helpful to have turrets. I don't want this really to be focused on just the strong arm, but basically anything. Also, maybe there are little screws inside here that you can get at if you really wanted to. I'm not going to, but you can take those out, get these pieces. There's a spring in here. Trigger, very important thing to keep. If you lose a trigger, you're screwed because then you can't put the gun back together because you can't shoot it. Also, trigger spring. I recommend leaving this trigger spring to its respective trigger because it might not fit with other triggers. So now we got quite a lot of stuff over here. First of all, there's a lock here. You could keep it if you just wiggle the locks out. I mean, I keep locks, honestly, even though I never use them. Especially, keep the springs for the lock because the springs are often very useful, and since you don't absolutely need it for anything, you just put that aside. I would keep this whole set as one, unless something's completely broken. Maybe what I like to do sometimes is if I want to double up my spring in a gun, I'll take the spring from a strong arm because that often fits very well over a retaliator plunger rod or something like that. Also, another little thing that's very, very useful to keep, tactical attachments, these little guys. This is what holds in your scope and stuff, and you also have a little spring that looks like this that goes on to the bottom, and that's what pushes your tactical attachment up and how your scope or grip or whatever locks into place. So after scavenging, you'll have a bunch of goodies like this, and if you just keep doing it, getting into the habit of doing it, you'll have a lot of extra parts to fall back on, and once again, that's really useful. So this is Mag212. Thanks for watching, guys.